Token Arthur was always curious about new things. One day, while flying over the jungle, he saw a group of animals exchanging goods and services using colorful stones. So he contacted Fintech CTOs from fantastic companies all around the world and collaborated with them to learn all about finance. Inspired, Arthur asked INSART CEO Vasyl to help start a podcast to share their knowledge with the world. This is what you are watching right now, Fintech CTO Podcast. Enjoy.
Hello, fintech leaders and builders. I'm Vasyl Soloshchuk from INSART, and this is our next episode of Fintech CTO Podcast. And today we have the great guest, and welcome Michael Pinsker from Docupace.
Michael Pinsker is an experienced Chief Executive Officer, President, Board Member with a demonstrated history of working in the computer software industry. Skilled in cloud computing, management, enterprise software, software as a service, and strategic planning. He has a strong entrepreneurship professional graduated from UCLA.
Michael, so to set the perspective, could you please tell us in few words what is your business and what is your company?
Well, Docupace is a transaction processing platform for wealth management. We provide the back office operational platform for financial services institutions, whether it's broker-dealers, RIAs, clearinghouses, and the like. And as part of our offering, we create the ecosystem which connects the investors together with the advisors, together with the regulatory entities, as well as the clearinghouses and custodians.
And what is your role in the company right now?
I'm founder and the president of Docupace, and currently I'm focused on technology, primarily product and technology.
Michael, so as I understand, you, as a leader, you have lots of stuff to do during the day. And my question here, as a leader, how do you prioritize work-life balance and ensure that you avoid burnouts personally?
It's a great question, Vasyl. I built specific times where I take time away from business and focus on my family, on my friends, and the hobbies which I like to do. And I'm purposeful about that because since I love what I do in business and my passion for Docupace in particular and our clients, I can get completely immersed in the day-to-day operation of the business, and time just flies. And then you realize, hours, days, weeks later that you're getting tired and your productivity not as much as it used to be. So in order to avoid that, having like a dedicated time slot, a dedicated elements where you just take time for yourself, you pull yourself out of the day-to-day tasks has been very helpful. I also try to alternate where I would focus, let's say, certain days on product specifically, whether it's through various meetings or different things which I do, or the other days I would focus more on technology and infrastructure. So it gives me a chance to alternate between the different tasks, not like constantly, but as I do that, it allows me to also kind of regenerate. And the way the brain works sometimes, it's by simply alternating to a different task, it refreshes and it kind of works in the background on the things which you're trying to solve for as well. So between those two things, alternating as well as purposefully building time for myself and my family, I'm able to keep it up and continue going.
So it's very important for every company and for Docupace that the leader can support others and does not burn out himself. But also it's very important that somebody will support the leader. So who supports yourself in tough situations?
I got a great team who is behind me, and everybody is Docupace. The level of talent is unbelievable. I know I can rely on pretty much anybody I call on, and if certain things need to be done, people would step up and basically be proactive in addressing whether it's a client issue, whether it's a particular task which needs to be done, whatever that is. I know that I'm able to actually rely on my teammates and everybody in Docupace, and it's been extremely helpful because right from the get-go, when I started the company, one of the key elements for me is to make sure that we bring people into the company, into Docupace, who we all like, who are capable, who are enthusiastic, who believe in our mission and what we're trying to achieve, and by building that culture of collaboration, culture of experience and expertise, which everybody can bring to the table, allows us to truly be versatile in that sense, and be able to rely in various situations on others, not just on yourself.
So speaking about the culture, so I believe there are a couple of approaches here. So you bring people who actually add up something to your culture, or you bring people and they are changed internally and they adopt to your culture. So what is your approach? So how do you build the culture in your team?
There are a few key elements which are critical to us when we evaluate anybody coming into Docupace. It's important that it's a match. It's a match in terms of the work ethics. It's a match in terms of the capabilities of a person. It's a match in terms of how they treat others, how they treat themselves. Those are some of the key factors which we look at. And the company has been in existence now for 21 years. So we've been going at it pretty strong. And there is a certain element of culture which has been built over the years. But then we constantly evolve it. We constantly bring new talent in to be able to really kind of elevate that. And as we bring new talent, we are open-minded. Everybody here at Docupace is. So if there is some new elements which come to play, or experiences which people bring in, new people who are joining Docupace, we welcome that, and that allows us to really continue to evolve as a company, as a team, and continue to really propagate that culture of collaboration and the culture of caring for one another, as well as caring for our clients.
Yeah, and I personally believe that the strong corporate culture is one of the key elements for the success of the company, and the company with the strong culture can serve the clients even better. And you are on the market for, like, Docupace is on the market like for more than 20 years. And my question is, how did the corporate culture evolved during this time, from the very beginning to the current point? So what are the major milestones, if you can name them?
It's a great question. It definitely has been an evolution, because when you're starting out, you are small. You're trying to get people to listen to you initially, as you may know. You're hoping that the product and services which you offer really make a difference to your clients. So you kind of finding the market fit and so forth. So the kind of tasks, the kind of interactions which you have are slightly different, or actually in some cases very different, than when you are evolving as a company, and you have established client base and you have a certain presence in the industry. So in terms of the milestones, as Docupace, initially we started as the workflow document management platform, completely web-based, which was fairly generic. And then as we zoomed in on the wealth management industry back in 2004, 2005 timeframe, we started to develop expertise in what our clients do on a day-to-day basis. So not only did we provide the technology, but we also learned pretty big, kind of significant deal about our client's business. And through that, through also having multiple or quite a few firms who leverage Docupace platform in a similar manner, we were able to provide that expertise and the leadership as it relates to thought leadership for how the technology should be implemented within the wealth management industry. So as we continue to evolve, then and the business continued to grow, then there's additional elements which got very important to our culture, because initially it was all about satisfying client need no matter what. Then it transformed into satisfying client need, but taking risk factors into account, making sure that we come as experts and we provide that expertise based on all these years of experience to our clients, so that they don't make mistakes, even though it would be together with us in deploying the technology. So we kind of leading our clients through that process, through that digital transformation, which we typically perform for the firms who we work with. So that had an impact on the culture, because that means that in some cases we would have to say no to certain requests, just because we knew that if we would go down that path, it would be us actually providing disservice to our clients. In some cases, we would actually lead our clients towards kind of certain path to indicate, like, if you would consider XYZ, then this will allow you to get to value significantly faster, and therefore you will be able to benefit as the overall organization. So those were some of the kind of generic examples I wish we would have. And that cultural shift from just always saying yes to everything as a small company, you want to kind of please your customer, to being thoughtful about what you do for your customers and how it truly impacts them in the long run, has been pretty prevalent within Docupace. And then you add other elements where, it's one thing when you're, 10, 15, 20 people company. It's another when you're a couple hundred people company, where there's certain cultural elements and collaboration which come into play as well, certain systems and certain processes which are implemented at that level, where it's not all dependent on just a few people who basically do everything. Now we have separation of duties, so to speak, and areas of expertise which each person provides, and that'll kind of also has a certain impact on the culture and how we really work together, how we collaborate together, how we support together to make sure that we do the best we can for our customers.
So as you mentioned, there could be some tough decisions to be made, and actually the leadership is also the process of making these decisions. And through this journey, I know that many leaders, they rely on mentors. So do you have the mentors yourself who can guide you or maybe advise you, or with whom you can discuss how to deal with some certain tough situations?
Absolutely, yeah. I right from the get-go, when I basically embarked on this entrepreneurial journey for myself, I became a firm believer that you've got to educate yourself. You've got to continually evolve as a person, both on the personal side as well as the business side. That means that you've got to be learning, and when it comes to learning, you've got to have somebody or various sources, various people, various resources who will allow you to learn and to evolve and to basically make sure you're applying the latest and greatest thought leaderships as you building the business. So I joined initially. I joined an organization called Vistage. That's basically an organization where a number of CEOs and leaders in different businesses come together to discuss various problems. Because what we found is that, or at least what I found, that business is business, and regardless whether it's a technology company or if it's a manufacturing firm, there are quite a few problems which are very similar, because we all have customers, we all have people in our businesses, and we all have products which and services which we provide. So in different areas, yes, the product may be different. Yes, the way you deliver it may be different. Yes, the customer in the industry may be different, but the nature of certain problems are the same. So that was one of the organizations, and in there I met a number of people who I value quite a bit, who gave me great advice over the years, and been by my side when we were going through different situations, which may not have been easy. So that basically allowed me to kind of navigate through some tough points in the journey, the Docupace journey. And then the other organization, which is also great for in terms of resources and leaders who are part of it, is the YPO, Young Presidents Organization. In there, you learn from each other. So there is definitely certain mentorship, which is, it's not just one particular person, it's the number of people who actually you can learn from for different things. And it's been extremely rewarding and educational for me.
So are they moderated groups of like mastermind groups or something? Is it correct?
Yeah, the way those organizations work is you have smaller groups of people who basically meet typically on a monthly basis, discuss various problems, various situations, and help each other to come up with the solutions to those. And then you have a broader networks of people, literally global networks of people who you can just contact, and people would respond. That's part of that culture of those organizations for anything. It doesn't matter. Like right now, for example, I'm playing a little bit with the AI, so I have a whole network of people who are doing the same, and we're collaborating together, and we're learning from each other, and how it applies in different businesses, for example. So it helps us educate each other as we're learning this new transformative technology, and as we're trying to apply it to various businesses.
Agree. Yeah, I personally also participate in a couple of similar groups, not in Vistage, but I know that Vistage is pretty big one. So great to know about this. And speaking about decision-making process, and the very first decision was actually to found the company. And what inspired you to start Docupace?
So I had Docupace is not my first business. As a matter of fact, it's my third business. The first one was in medical field, not a technology company, that lasted all of 3 months, and I realized that's not for me. So it was a very quick journey. Then I founded a consulting company where we would go and implement workflow systems for insurance, government agencies, insurance companies and government agencies primarily. It was a pretty successful business. We grew very nicely, but I always felt that something was missing for me. And what I realized is that what that was, it was the fact that I couldn't offer a product of our own which would fit the market and fit the need in a very particular manner. So that's what inspired me to look for an alternative to a consulting business, and basically to start Docupace as a product company, and combined together with the timing where it was in early 2000s when the internet just started to become more commercialized, and the opportunity was there, which I recognized, where to be able to create a platform which is completely web-based. And also what that meant is ability to deliver this type of a solution, which historically has been extremely heavy in terms of resources and costs, to deliver it in a significantly lighter manner to the businesses who could actually now afford those types of solutions, to kind of a mid and small marketplace. So that was the inspiration behind Docupace many years ago, and since then it transformed to really being focused on the wealth management industry, and for us to become this back office ecosystem which we provide for an operational system which we provide for our clients.
So why specifically wealth management? Why did you focus on wealth management? Because you could focus on other areas as well, but why specifically wealth management?
Great question. One of the key questions I asked myself in the beginning is it replicatable, whatever the offering and whatever the solution which we offer. And when we started to find this market fit for the product, what I found is that there were a number of financial advisors who were basically, they liked the platform, they signed up for the platform and started to use it. And I saw that they were using it in a very similar manner. So the even though one RIA is different than another and they have different products which they offer, but in general, from a technology standpoint and from the standpoint of how they use that technology, they were very similar. So that was one of the criteria which basically led me to focusing more and more on wealth management industry. So, and that's kind of, we liked it so much that we stayed in here ever since.
So we could say like it was more like organic approach to evolve and focus more on wealth management, and it went pretty great for your company. And stay focused. As I understand, staying focused is one of the key to the success of the company. Is it correct?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And that's true for any business. I think having the focus on your customer, having a focus on what you do and what kind of service you provide or product you deliver is critical, especially when you're young. Business, you can very easily get distracted with all the different things which are possible. And as a result, rather than doing something exceptionally well, you may do many things, but so. And that's not the best way to build the business. So that focus element is critical. And that's one of the reasons why I was lucky enough to recognize that early on. And rather than spreading ourselves thin, because we didn't have a lot of resources back then, that was one of the main decisions, is to really kind of double down into the wealth management industry and focus specifically. Initially, it was on financial advisors. Then we expanded with the broker dealers, and now we kind of offer the full slew of products and solutions to the overall industry as a whole.
So, Michael, you mentioned that, so actually you're founder, you're president, but you mentioned that you're also running technology and software development in your company. So how deeply are you involved right now in technical aspects of Docupace product?
If you ask me if I'm coding, the answer is no. I'm not coding. Okay. Not anymore, even though my background is computer science engineering degree. So I have been coding in the past. But I do go pretty deep in terms of the architectural aspects of the platform. As I said, I'm lucky to have a wonderful team which basically supports me, and the talent level is unbelievable. So we always like to geek out on certain things and get into the nitty gritty of a particular technical decision. But in general, it's the overall strategy of where the product should be going and how we should be evolving it. How do we make sure that we not only do we stay with the current trends in the market, but also we look ahead and can predict where it needs to be, so that we can truly provide that thought leadership to our customers. And then on the technology side, making sure that, because we are software as a service, and we are that platform which our customers rely on literally daily basis, every single hour, every single minute, because we are the core of their kind of the lifeblood, or some of them refer to us as being a spine of their business from the technology standpoint. So stability is another big area which I'm focused on as well, to make sure that operationally, from the infrastructure standpoint, from the product kind of realization and deployment standpoint, our solution is stable and it works, and it just runs.
So when we talk about the engineering and the infrastructure, so are we talking that you're involved in the more like tactical, just like strategical decisions, or tactical operational management level as well?
No, strategic decisions primarily. We do have directors of infrastructure, director of engineering, for example, who do the tactical management. They perform tactical management decisions on a daily basis. They manage the teams, and they do report into me today.
Okay. So speaking about the building the leadership team is actually very important for every company. And as you said, you have director of engineering, director of infrastructure, and you have the whole team of leaders. And my question is actually how to select the right leaders, how to attract them in your company, because as a founder, as an entrepreneur, you can't do everything yourself. As you said, you need a team. And I personally believe the most important, you need to start from your leadership team, actually. So how do you do this yourself?
So there are two schools of thoughts, and I think it's not like one is better than the other. It's actually, I think, is a hybrid, and that's how we look at that as well. Is one is you develop talent within your organization, and then you elevate that talent, and we've done that, and we've seen number of folks who elevated themselves, and they have been amazing, because they may have started with the technical background, but then they showed the aptitude for learning, and also ability to kind of their people skills were wonderful, and they were able to actually elevate themselves to the managerial level, and then become the leaders from the managerial standpoint. Then there is also technical leaders who also continue to evolve, and there is a growth path which we built within our business, which allows a person to learn and to grow individually and become that technical expert who we all can rely on. So there is two paths in there for leadership, from leadership standpoint. One is technical, another one is managerial. And that's kind of one broader category, is you build the talent from within, so to speak. Then there is also talent which you can bring from outside. And when we evaluating the talent coming from outside, we look at their experience, we look at the cultural fit, we look at the ability and various kind of, there's a whole scorecard which we typically put together, and we have multiple people interviewing a candidate, especially when it comes to leadership position, to make sure it's the right fit, to make sure that from tactical standpoint, the leader, they've got the right qualities, right skill sets to be able to navigate and lead the business. And the thought there is that when we bring somebody from outside, we want somebody who had similar experiences already and who can take us to the next level. So it's not somebody who can do the job, so to speak, but rather somebody who can lead that particular area which we're trying to bring or trying to hire into to the next chapter in the Docupace's evolution.
So sometimes it's like that. So your company is growing, you're scaling, and you need and you actually don't have somebody who is capable to do the leadership job right now. So for example, maybe you need like a head of sales, okay, like director of sales, and maybe you have several great sales representatives or maybe account executives, but they're not necessarily ready to take this job. Yeah, like because you are grown, you need somebody more mature for this particular role. And then you go to market and you're trying to attract somebody, and maybe you can get several good candidates, and you need to make the decision. And the cost of this decision, if you make it right, so you can benefit. But if you make it wrong, and if you hire the wrong guy for this particular role, you can lose time, you can lose your traction. So how you can make sure that when you hire the experienced executive, like sales director, for example, so you're making the right decision. So how you can ensure that?
Well, it goes to your hiring processes and to your kind of the way how you interview a person, as well as having the feedback from multiple people on the team who basically are contributing to that decision, right? From hiring standpoint, we've got an exceptional chief human officer, CHO, and she, Christina Cavalli, and she is established a wonderful process for us, which all of us follow when we look for the leaders in any position, frankly, and through execution and a discipline in that process, it minimizes your risk. It doesn't mean that you won't be able, you bring a person in and it turns out that that's not the right fit. It still may happen, but at least you're minimizing that through the process, through the hiring process, and you basically, making it significantly less probability that you'll be on the other side making a decision whether this person should still stay with the company or not. So because you're right, it's very costly to make a mistake in that area. So the more you can do on the upfront in exercising the discipline and the diligence, checking references, making sure that it's the right fit across all different areas, whether it's cultural fit, whether it's the skill set fit, people fit, whatever that may be, you've got to take the time to do it right in order for you to minimize that risk. And then if unfortunately sometimes that does happen when person either comes in or whether both, it also may happen internally. A person comes into the role and they were, let's say, great programmer, but then when it comes to actually managing a team, that's not their skill set and it's not something they can do well. You've got to adapt. You've got to make adjustments and do them fairly quickly in order to make sure that it doesn't become kind of a systemic problem for the business. So kind of again, process, figuring out and having the discipline to run through that process, and then adjusting once you see if the adjustment is needed.
So you mentioned the process, and what are the specific milestones, major milestones for hiring the C-level executives or directors in your company?
There are several. There is kind of intangible conversations with C-level executives, other C-level executives within our company, not just one, but several. There is technical assessment of the expertise in a particular field, whether that person has a certain expertise and done it before, ideally, so to speak, and can bring some new perspectives to the business. So many times it's kind of an open, collaborative conversation throughout the process to see kind of to both us educate the person on Docupace and at the same time learn of the experience of that person, and then collaborate together what they would do with Docupace. Then we put together a plan, like a 30, 90-day plan, which we basically then look at what would that person do and kind of assess whether they're able to do that before we even hire them. In some cases, again, it's a collaborative process. We also do assessments, like the Hogan assessment and a number of others, to see if it's the right fit both for the job as well as for the company as well as for the person, and those are the kind of different steps. So it's not uncommon when we have multiple interviews with the same senior leader and the same person who we're trying to hire, so that they can collaborate even before they get hired. So that's kind of been our few of our milestones here.
So and how do you keep your C-level executives motivated to keep working for the company? Because it's not it's very important not only like to hire but also to retain great leaders in your company in long term. So how do you do this? How do you motivate
it's
them?
alignment. It's alignment to the vision. It's alignment to the culture. It's alignment also to the ultimate goal of with Docupace and our success and each individual's personal growth. Alignment and all of that. So if we have, and when we do have that alignment, and we do, it allows us to really work extremely well together as the executive team, and truly support each other. We have very clear lines of responsibilities. Each of us knows exactly who each person is responsible for. We collaborate with each other. It's not necessarily always going through David, our CEO, but we basically able to communicate and collaborate at the various levels as well. So having that type of an environment which promotes collaboration, which promotes a kind of a joint camaraderie towards the common goal and the vision and the mission which we set out for ourselves, creates engagement. We also measure our engagement. That's another element which I didn't mention yet, but we measure it on a quarterly basis across the whole organization, not just the executives, but also with each individual employee. We see how we're tracking in terms of the engagement and how people are truly not perform, as well as there is elements how they interact with each other, how they interact with the management. Do they have a clear understanding of the mission and the vision? All those things are extremely important to us, and it's part of our culture.
So you mentioned that you have like clear lines of leadership and management and delegating the responsibility. So as I understand, you're the president of the company, okay? So you have David as a CEO, but you're also involved in engineering, like decision making of strategic decisions for engineering. So how does it work, like between like you and David? Just interesting how you govern all this, being the president, but also being responsible for the strategic engineering decisions.
Well, my role, as I said, is focused primarily on product and technology. So, and then whatever the support I can offer, both as a founder and with the historical knowledge which I have to other leaders, whether it's on the sales side, if there is a particular opportunity and I have a relationship with a number of folks in the industry and it allows us to have an open conversation, then I would work together with our CRO on that, and he'll bring me in to help kind of navigate through particular situations. Whether it's on the operational side, I would work together with our COO, where he would basically bring me in if necessary, and so forth, and vice versa. So, and I would do the same when I'm dealing with a certain product or technology specific issue or areas where I need other leaders, other executives to participate in the collaboration. So it really works well where. Again, we have respective areas which we oversee and drive, but at the same time, we collaborate together and we help each other.
So could we say that you actually play the role of advisor for your executive team as soon as you're for like more than 20 years in the business and you know everything about the company? and you're like a knowledge base, and you play the role of advisor to your executive. Could we say something like that?
It's one of the elements. It's not the only element. As I said, I oversee product and technologies, so I play the role of the CTO right now as well. And basically there is operational element to that as well. And then there is, again, because I'm in this unique position of being a founder, I'm able to provide expertise and knowledge to other areas when necessary. But again, my philosophy is quite simple when it comes to this. As long as I'm helpful and people need my help, I'm open, I'm eager to help and be valuable, both internally and externally. So that's kind of my approach to this. It doesn't matter what the title is. It doesn't matter, at least to me, it's how do I generate value? How do I advance the mission of the business? Make sure that we at Docupace can really do a stellar job for our customers and really impact the industry. That's what's most important to me personally, and that's how I act in a day-to-day basis.
Okay. So look, so at some point of time, every business may need to add some more partners or investors, and the question is, what's your strategy here? So who are your partners? Who are your investors? Can you tell us your story?
Sure. Yeah, we've been, and from Docupace's standpoint, that journey kind of led me to sell portion of the business, then buy it back, then sell it again, and then bring investors in. It's that journey started in 2014 when I sold to RCS a significant portion of the company, and continued through the years since. Now we are lucky. I consider myself lucky to have great partners like FTV Capital, who is the majority investor in Docupace. They've been awesome partner. And been extremely supportive to the company, to me as well, it's been a wonderful journey in the last 3 years working with them alongside with David and the rest of the team.
So my next question is about what are the most significant achievements for the Docupace through the last several years?
I think it's us truly providing an exceptional value to our customers. So there are two. One, I'd say, and the first one, which is building the exceptional team inside of Docupace of people who are incredible in terms of their talent, in terms of their culture, they believe in what we do. To me, that's probably the biggest achievement we've done, because I truly value everybody we work with, or I work with, and that's what keeps me excited to come to work every day, because that type of a collaboration and interaction is extremely rewarding. That's on the internal side, and then on the external side is nothing more gives me pleasure when I hear somebody, without me even asking, saying that, "Oh my God, Docupace have changed my life in terms of what I do at my work." When I used to be dreading all this paperwork, and now it's so easy. It's just I can focus on my clients. I can focus on the things I love because of Docupace. So that type of a satisfaction which we can offer to our clients, to their people, is extremely rewarding. And I think it's a great achievement for us to be able to do that and to continue to lead that and provide the platform which truly makes a difference on a daily basis for everybody in the wealth management industry. As a matter of fact, we established a holiday called the back office hero day, where we truly
Okay.
celebrate back office heroes, because you see on the front line, you hear the news, you kind of see the advisors which basically interact with investors. What you don't see is what happens behind the scenes, how they get supported, and that's where we feel that Docupace brings a lot of value and really makes a difference for folks in the back office who basically provide that extremely valuable support to their advisors and to the investors.
Yeah, and I think it's a great part of the corporate culture as well to celebrate people and professionals who are actually customer facing in the customer facing roles, because they are actually serving the clients as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So we also recently chatted with you that for the data management business like Docupace, it's very important to have all the cybersecurity measures in place. So can you tell us a little bit more? So what kind of measures do you have in your company? What is the process?
Well, for us, obviously, since we are software as a service, since we store data for our customers, we take cybersecurity extremely serious. Our CISO, Greg Wilson, is wonderful and a great expert. We've got processes in place, we've got systems in place to make sure that all systems are secured. We have certain policies how our overseas employees work with Docupace and how they access to make sure that it's all secured. We constantly monitor data movement inside of our environment and so forth. We have necessary, whether it's starting from basic penetration testing all the way to SOC audits, which we perform on an annual basis to make sure that our policies and procedures are in compliance, and we continue to constantly elevate our security posture. So it is definitely a very critical component because of the amount of data and documents which we store for our clients, and cybersecurity is definitely front and center for us in many decisions which we make as it relates to code, to basically how we act as individuals when we have access to data.
So is it important to have like security certifications on the company level or on the personal level of software engineers, for example?
Absolutely. We do have annual training which we perform inside of the company, and everybody is required to go through that training regardless of your position in the company, whether it's an engineer or whether it's an accountant. It doesn't matter. We train every single person because from cybersecurity standpoint, even though we have controls where people have access to data on as needed basis, but regardless, you probably have heard of it, where there is a lot of what's called social engineering happening, and that's what triggers some of the cybersecurity incidents which may happen in different companies. We've been lucky where we haven't had any throughout our history, but we constantly educate our teammates and we constantly reevaluate our security posture to make sure that we stay up to date.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of regulations are the most important for data management business right now?
Well, we have the 17A3A4 as it relates to documents and how the documents are managed. We have obviously the cyber regulations as well in terms of how the data needs to be handled, the PII, how it needs to be handled. So all of those need to be taken into account and make sure that the platform supports and compliant with all of those regulations.
Okay. So, and also, as you said, the social engineering is a big deal, and you need to have specific measures in place. And also, we talked about that you need to delegate certain responsibilities to people. Do you think that these certifications and trainings that your people have, this is enough, like to do just like on annual basis, or you need to have some built-in features into your corporate culture to improve your security and security of your product?
Well, it's already built into corporate culture, but there is also features which are and security tools which have been deployed to validate that nobody is doing some silly stuff, or there is no kind of bad actors, so to speak. And if there is a bad actor, that system catches them very quickly before it becomes an issue. So we tackle it from both ends, education and cultural kind of immersion into the being aware about the cybersecurity, but at the same time having tools which allow us to have that security defense system built in, which both detection as well as protection, which will allow us to catch any bad acting right out of the gate and prevent it from happening and doing any damage to us.
So, Michael, to wrap up, as we know, like the technology is evolving, and in fintech, we have seen many different digital transformation trends. And for example, right now, everybody are talking about generative AI and how to apply it in the fintech as well. So what do you think is the most important technological trend right now that you can benefit as a company, and that you have some specific plan in place to leverage on?
Well, AI, I mean, I would remiss without mentioning AI. It will be transformative, no question about it. We don't even know at this point what kind of impact it will have on us and our society. And there is a great debate which is happening right now. It's unfolding live, so to speak. If some people saying that, oh my God, it's going to be the end of the world. The other people saying, no, it's actually going to be extremely supportive, and it will advance us as the humans to make our life easier, right? So for wealth management, for Docupace in particular, I think it will create an opportunity for us to go faster, an opportunity for us to develop solutions faster, to also provide very intuitive and insightful information to our clients, which effectively, since we've got a lot of data already in place, to be able to analyze that data and leverage AI for that purpose, I think may be very transformative for the industry in general. And Docupace is definitely considering different elements of that and how to incorporate that into our product, so that at the end of the day, it provides more value to our customers.
Michael, so thank you very much for being with us today, and thank you for telling us your great story. So I specifically admire that you were able to build that strong leadership team and the strong corporate culture that actually affect the Docupace growth and success. And I want to wish you all the best and good luck with growing your business even further. So thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Vasyl. It was a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to future podcasts as well. And thank you for having me today. I'm happy to be able to share my thoughts with you and your audience. Thank you for listening.
Great, thank you. And for everybody who are watching us today, so thank you for watching, and also like our video and put all your questions below this video in the comments, so we will answer everything. And subscribe to our channel. So thank you. So it was me, Vasyl from INSART, and Michael from Docupace. See you, stay healthy, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Still watching us and have not subscribed yet? Let's fix this. Also, don't forget to like this video and take a look at the other episodes we have. See ya!